Today in algebra we talked about systems word problems. We talked about how graphing is the easiest when both are solved for y, how substitution is easiest if x is solved for or if there's a 1 in front of your variable, a coefficient of 1 or negative 1, and elimination is easiest if two are opposite or if there isn't another method that looks easier, if they're already lined up. You could read through more of that if you'd like more details. In section A of our notes/homework, we went through a couple of these problems together, and then you finished for homework which ones you thought were the easiest to use. Without solving, just tell me which one is the easiest. In this one, we decided elimination, and we said that was the case because I could automatically cancel 2x and negative 2x. Then we skipped down to number 4, and we said, well, which would be easiest, that one? And most of us said substitution. And that was because we already had an x equals. X was already solved for. Then we looked at number 5, and we said that one looked like maybe graphing because we had 2 that already said y equals. Now, I asked you to finish 2, 3, and 6 in class. I asked you to finish those for homework. Your opinion may be different than someone else's. As long as you can justify or back it up, that's totally fine. Then we moved on and looked at number 1 together. For a fundraiser, a Boy Scout troop sold 2 sizes of popcorn boxes. Small for $3 and large for $6. If 302 boxes were sold for a total of $1,803, how many large boxes were sold? To solve this word problem, we need to start by seeing what the problem's talking about, and that's small boxes and large boxes. I'm going to label small as x and large as y. One of my equations deals with the money. Small are $3, so 3 times each small, which is x, plus 6 times each large, which is y, adds up to the total amount of money, which is $1,803. Now, if I'm talking about total number of boxes, that's 302. So x would be all the smalls, plus y, all the larges, equals 302. In this case, we said that elimination was probably the easiest way to solve, so we recopied this first one. We noticed that if we switch these numbers and we put it in parentheses, this one right here would be multiplying by 1, this one by 3. So we multiplied the second one by 3 and left the first one alone. Again, because multiplying by 1 wouldn't change anything. When we do that, don't forget we multiply every single thing by 3. So if we've done that here, we're good to go. We can almost cancel out these 3 x's, but not quite because the sign's still a problem. We flip all of our signs, and now we can cancel. 6y plus negative 3y is 3y. 1803 plus negative 906 is 897. We can use our calculator to get that value. Divide both sides by 3 and y equals 299. To get our x value, we're going to plug it into one of the equations. I'm choosing the second one, so x plus 299 instead of x plus y equals 302. Subtract 299 from both sides, and x equals 3. My ordered pair then is 3, 299. My sentence is, they sold 299 large boxes. Now, your sentences don't have to be fancy, but they do need to be complete, meaning I need a subject and a verb. Let's look on the back. We did a couple of these together as well. We looked at number 4. 6 grapefruit cost as much as a dozen oranges. The cost of a dozen grapefruit and 2 dozen oranges is $12. How much does 1 grapefruit cost? So we said, well, grapefruits, we'll call those x, and oranges, we'll call those y. My first equation is 6x, 6 grapefruit, cost as much as, which means equals, a dozen oranges, so 12y. The cost of a dozen grapefruit and 2 dozen oranges, 2 dozen would be 24, equals $12. And then we solved using substitution. So 6x equals 12y. We divided both sides by 6 to get x by itself. We got x is 2y. We then plugged that into our second equation. So we did 12. In place of x, we put 2y plus 24y equals 12. We chose substitution because these were not all on the same side, so elimination would be difficult there. 12 times 2 is 24y plus 24y equals 12. 48y equals 12. Divide both sides by 48. 12 divided by 48 is 0.25, so it's 25 cents for each grapefruit. For each orange, we'd do x equals, and we have an equation that says 2y, so 2 times y would be 50 cents. So So we know each grapefruit, and grapefruit was our X value, cost 50 cents. On this last one, I'm just going to read it to you and set it up. That's all we did in class, and as you can hear the bells ringing, so I'm about to have to run. But this last one says the cost of a Renegade's new CD is 3 times the cost of its tape. If 2 CDs and 3 tapes cost $47.70, what is the cost of each? We're talking about CDs, that's our X. We're talking about tapes, that's our Y. If I say CDs is, so X equals 3 times the cost of a tape, that's one equation. And the second one is 2 CDs, so 2X, and, which means plus, 3 tapes, 3Y, is $47.70. Those are my 2 equations. I would suggest using substitution on this one to solve. Then you just need to set up and solve numbers 2 and 3. I think on both of those, elimination is going to be your best bet. Good luck, and let me know if you have questions.